When I was a teenager, my mother told me that I would write her life story. Yeah, right, was my reply. Why would anyone want to read about an illiterate single mom who raised 5 children whom she embarrassed whenever they appeared together in public? Wasn't going to happen. Oh, but it did. Around 2000, when my children, her grandchildren, started leaving the nest, I finally had time to write poetry seriously. The first time a poem wrote itself occurred when I tried to recreate the Japanese experiences my mother liked to tell of pre-World War II days and an innocent time she celebrated the Girls' Festival of Dolls. She also told how the war came and affected her family. When she spoke, her stories were never as elegant as the poems I had written, but through her pidgin English, her humanity spilled out. Based on her stories, I surmised the ending of the poems. Festival of Dolls. On the cusp of puberty, August 1945, my world changed in a gasp. From Fukuoka, somewhere between Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I saw 2 chariot clouds that would lift me from the cellar where precious potatoes were stored, as if my atoms were shaken, rearranged to find myself riding the cap of a mushroom shroud, drifting over Fujiyama, then east across the ocean. I believed any place else was better than where I lived, coaxing warmth from ashes, scouring streets for ragged sheets of seaweed to wrap around black market rice and fish. Once, I stole a sack of red plums, and Mother smacked my face before she sliced the fruit and offered it to Father. But in Nagasaki and Hiroshima, a hand imprinted on a cheek means nothing to shadows set in concrete. Why can't life be like Hinamasuri, when I would dress up all my dolls for their hand-picked husbands? I would dream of real daughters to swathe in fine kimonos. I surrendered to smiling soldiers who nicknamed me doll and promised me chocolates today and tomorrow. So much for a hungry girl with eyes for America, land of silk and money. I remember when she leaned on me after her husband left her. I was 9 years old. I was the oldest and expected to take over. And though I admired my mother's tenacity and resourcefulness in keeping her brood together, I resented surrendering my childhood. My mother also was stingy with compliments and expressions of love, a trait I find myself displaying. How do you deal with the guilt of not saying, "I love you" enough times to your mother? She died in 2012. For the last 10 years of her life, she suffered dementia, and all reliable memories were lost. At the breakfast table, my mother's mumblings bounce off the fold of an omelet. Is it a prayer to follow ancestral gods, or a childhood song about crickets in a cage? Most likely a complaint that her eggs are cold, words drowned in juice swallowed with toast. What did you say? My mother reveals no secrets, stares at my forehead, speaks Japanese. She slurps the last of her coffee, demands to smoke by smacking her lips and drawing her right hand scissor style to her mouth. I remembered when she was tall, a woman in her prime who wore lipstick thermometer red, mercury reaching 100 degrees, a fevered life of stretching nylons over her knee, parading smoke rings across the air. She would laugh in public as she extinguished each ember, leaving ashtrays filled with filter tips, headstones standing in cold sand. Men emerged from the wisp, silver lighters in hand. Some offered their favorite brands. A few winked at me as they would to a baby brother. She sometimes accepted their benevolence, clutching my wrist. She showed me how a pack of Salems can act like a chugging locomotive. She pulled the wrapper down an inch and burned a hole with her cigarette, filling the chamber with smoke. She let me slide the cellophane up and down, releasing white clouds that bounced off the ceiling. She showed me, too, how a match can burn twice.